Hey there friends, thanks for checking in. Today we're looking at used guns and buying used guns and some of the finer points to look for when buying a gun that is used. There are times somebody buys a gun, they run a couple mags through it, they put it away, and after so long they decide they want to sell it, and that's a great opportunity to get a basically new gun at a used price. But there are other times where a gun has been abused, and that's what we're going to look for. We're going to look for signs of home gunsmithing and give you 5 points that you could look for so that you don't get ripped off or buy a gun that doesn't work. The first thing is to take a look at the overall condition of the gun. Now this is basic, but you may want to bring a flashlight to take a look to see if there are any scratches you may not catch right away, see if the gun has been dropped. If there are, those are points of negotiation with the price. You may see that there's some dust behind the trigger, dust back here, no big deal. Basically just kind of looking at it. Now many used guns have had multiple owners. So even though somebody might say, you know, that gun's never been carried, but somebody before him who owned the gun may have carried it, and you should, you know, see signs of that if they did. And that's some wear right around here, being in and out of the holster. Definitely a sign of negotiation if you're still interested in the gun. See wear here, maybe a scratch here too, see if it's been dropped. Here's another thing. Here's my CM9. I run my finger up here and I see a little bit of grit coming out of the serrations. That's clearly a sign that the gun has been carried, whether they want to agree or not. You know, multiple owners, they really don't know the whole history of the gun in many cases. The second thing you want to look at are the sights. Now this seems basic, but many people may not do this, and that's pushing the sights back and forth, making sure they're nice and sturdy. You'll be surprised at how often they're not. Or when people switch out the sights and they don't install them properly, and you go to the range and you don't hit anything, chances are that's why. They didn't install them properly and you didn't notice it when you purchased the gun. Other than that, it should line up properly. Everything looks good. We move on to number 3, and that is checking out the trigger. And you do want to ask permission. Definitely do a safety check and pull the trigger, single action, double action. You can always take a pen or a pencil, put it in here, and pull the trigger. That should propel that pencil right out of the gun. Unless it has a magazine disconnect, in case you would have to insert the magazine. And this is a SIG P220, and that does not. But it's a clear thing to look for. Make sure that firing pin is working properly. Now the next thing you want to look for, and definitely a sign of home gunsmithing, is the pins and screws. Many times people will use the wrong size screwdriver. They'll use an Allen wrench and a hammer to punch stuff out. You look at it right there. If there are any tool marks around there, to me that's a red flag. I'm not buying the gun. If I see that it's been detailed field strip by somebody who really didn't know what they were doing, they watched a YouTube video and took it apart piece by piece, and then how do you know they really assembled it the right way? So I look at every screw in there to make sure that everything looks good, that it was not abused, and that's what it is. If they use the wrong size screwdriver, or they punch out pins, you know, without using the proper tools. So if everything looks good at that point, the trigger feels good, sights look good, overall condition looks good, the next thing is to field strip it. People should have no problem, if you want to field strip the gun, take a look at the internals. Completely normal. And once again, with the frame, you want to take a look, feel around, make sure that there is nothing that has been filed off, sanded off. You know, you might hear a little bit of a rattle, but it should be pretty compact. Shouldn't hear a lot of noise. We're looking for rust at this point. So we see the guide rod, the spring, everything looks good, no rust on it. We take a look at the barrel. Having markings on the barrel is completely normal. No signs of abuse. Now, many people say, well, I polished the feed ram. Polishing usually is not that big a deal. It's the filing and the sanding is what I don't like. Look here, everything looks fine. I look at the barrel and I use a flashlight here, and I look at it from both sides. Not a lot to see. You should see the rifling in there, and you know, it's either clean or dirty, but if there are scratch marks, chances are somebody ran a brush, a steel brush, in the attempt of cleaning it, ran this brush through it and scratched it up. Never run a steel brush through a barrel. If you do use that, you want to dip it in some lubricant first. I don't even bother with that. In my opinion, it's completely fine. But if all those things check out, everything looks good, you may be good to go and get your prices down. Don't try to rip people off either. You know what? If they're offering a good gun at a fair price and you want the gun, you know what? Try to work out the deal without using a last minute insult, offering them just a ridiculous price. But that's it, guys. I hope it helps. Buy those used guns, get some good deals, and have a lot of fun at the range. If you like videos like this, please subscribe and share. I always appreciate the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching, and you guys be safe.